Thank you, Bridget. Representative Takashi Ono represents the districts of Nu'uanu, Laliha, and Alewa Heights. He's joining me now in studio. So you're here to talk about how you think we should address the problem of illegal dumping. But can you talk about how effective you think the city's new scheduled pilot pickup program is so far?
I'm happy to do so. I think there's a growing sentiment among my community and among the state that perhaps we live on a beautiful island, but the city is getting only dirtier and dirtier. The new changes that the city put into place have cracked down on folks who I think are trying to do the right thing. They've made it tougher on people who want to make sure that they're following the rules, when the whole purpose of it should have been to make it harder for those folks who abuse the system. Right now, I think it's unfortunate that so many of our residents have to walk through communities with growing piles of bulky items that are not picked up.
Just as you drive through your own community, do you see this as a big problem?
Absolutely. And I think that going forward, we certainly need more and more focus on this. Keeping our streets clear of refrigerators and chairs should be a government function. Making sure that our sidewalks are clear for students and residents to walk through should be a core government function.
What changes do you think need to be made in order to address this problem?
I obviously think that more cameras, I think that lighted areas among hot spots are needed. But what's most crucial is to catch the folks who are doing these things. One, I don't think this new program has any sort of strategy to make sure that these hotspot areas are going to be addressed. And two, I don't think it has any sort of idea how to catch those perpetrators, those folks who abuse the system. We need to make an example of some folks, and we need to make sure that those regularly routine areas that happen on the sides of roads, outside of parks, are finally addressed. The changes don't do that.
So how do you propose we fix this issue?
I think the state needs to get involved. Right now, we've been introducing, my office has introduced legislation to allow the use of cell phone camera video to be used to prosecute and find those folks who drive by in the middle of the night, folks who try to stealthily dispose of their bulky items improperly. I also think that we need to get the Department of Health involved. It's so crucial that, again, as a government, we need to keep our communities clean. And if the city has needs, I think state resources would be wisely spent in order to address that.
All right, Takashi Ono, thank you for joining us in studio. Bridget, back over to you at the desk.